And that right there is why I basically have to refresh or get a new phone every year. It looks like someone's building some wooden structure out here. Almost missed my turn. This is definitely one of the dangers of camping out in the forest. But now the problem is, I don't know if I'll be able to turn around. Oh, tell me there's not another log up ahead. I'm pretty confident the van can handle this one, but... So I think my chef card is revoked. Today's trip is a different kind of escape. I left work late and I've been planning to come out camping for the last several weeks. This is my first camping trip since I had my surgery a few months ago. This is really just a shakeout of my equipment. I'm super excited because I am on a trail right now that I've been on in the past. And I never would have dreamed that I would take a Toyota Sienna down this trail. But since I've installed the lift kit, I want to try that out. And I don't think I mentioned, but it is, of course, raining. And that adds another factor because I am going down into a valley. And if the minivan makes it into the valley, no problem. But it rains really hard. Then I've got to be able to get back out of that valley tomorrow to get to my next destination. Well, it looks like my plans might be changing. There is a log in the middle of this route. We had quite a few storms last month, and so I think that this log might force me to go to another location. Luckily, I know where there's lots of trails, and so I may not get the off-road challenge that I was hoping for today, but let's go check it out. Let's see what the route assessment is. And then otherwise, I've got another campsite about 40 minutes from here. I need to get to the site, get some dinner cooked, and this might turn me around. So let's check it out. So let's go check this log out. Like I said, I can't really lift much. If this tree was gonna fall, for example, if I was out here and it fell while I was out here, there's not much I could do to get around this. Here it is. This is definitely one of the dangers of camping out in the forest. And even with the lift kit, there's basically no way that the van would ever get over this tree. So this thing is definitely a showstopper for tonight. And I was super excited to share that campsite with you guys because it's really a beautiful campsite. And just to let you know, I had the Journeys off-road 3.5-inch lift. So that gives me a little bit more space in between the tires. I had that installed. And I also installed some tires that are essentially off-road or more aggressive. They're not true off-road tires, but this is the biggest size that will fit in there. And you might wonder, why does it still have such a big gap? And well, the problem is these 29.1 inch tires, I believe you can fit 29.5, but they almost touch. So this here is within the 3 inches overlap of the tire, and that's about as big as you can go. If you go any taller, you are gonna rub here. And I think there may be a little bit of rubbing on this little wing that goes right here, but it's not that bad for me. So overall, I am happy that I had that kit installed, but now the problem is, I don't know if I'll be able to turn around, so I might have to at least back out about 1/4 mile to get to the next turnaround point. And that right there is why I basically have to refresh or get a new phone every year. I'm just always breaking them. And this is like one of those deja vu situations because actually the last camping trip I did was in the snow and there was a tree down on this same route but it was much further back. And so I was able to turn around because it was essentially at the entrance to this forest road. So I've got to just back out. There's no place to turn around except for maybe... See, I don't want to disturb the vegetation. I know there's no green leaves or anything, but there are quite a bit of just little like bushes or whatever growing there. So I'm just watching my rear view mirror here, and I know there's an opening back there somewhere, but I would say if you go down these roads and you encounter these kind of problems, the number one rule is don't panic. Because in these kind of situations, panicking is actually what causes me to make mistakes, and out here making a mistake will definitely get me stranded. And so I'm using this, and I think I might see the spot. And so crisis number one averted, and it seems like the rain might have let up a little bit. And I've got about 90 minutes of sunlight left, so I want to make sure I get to site number 2, which unfortunately is a 30-minute drive from here. And if it's not covered with trees, we can get in there, get some dinner cooked, and get the rest of this adventure started. And even though I'm in a rush, I don't want to go so fast that, you know, I don't enjoy my trip overall. Almost missed my turn. We made it onto this trail that has a pretty decent campsite on it. This one is definitely achievable in the minivan. In fact, I took Ray from Ray Rambles out here to film a video with him a few months ago, and he was worried about getting stuck out here. And his minivan, his Nissan MPV, is much lower than mine. But my last trip, I came down here and there was someone out here hunting. And so this area I didn't camp in because I don't want to hunt near or camp near hunters. Oh, tell me there's not another log up ahead. So hopefully not again, but it looks like there's another log right there in the way. Let's get up there and drive up here and see if we can do anything about this. And honestly, I feel like the van can probably handle this one. I'm pretty confident the van can handle this one, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and try to pull this one off the route. And that goes back to my theory earlier of, if you don't have to be risky, don't be risky. I'm sure there will be other risks I've got to assume later. And so, one more obstacle clear. I'm in a rush to get to my campsite, but I see something here I just want to check out. Keep in mind, this is public land, and so what I see here, not really intended to be in this Forest Service area, and so I just want to check out. So it looks like someone's building some wooden structure out here. We've got a burn pit, and then we have essentially like the beginning of a log cabin. And so I'm not sure exactly why this is out here, but this definitely does not belong here. You know, it'd be actually funny if someone's doing this for like a YouTube or a TikTok or something, log cabin in the woods, but you really can't be disturbing the woods. That's the whole point of the dispersed camping out here. It is, of course, just wood, and so it's not that bad, but hopefully someone's not planning to, you know, build a little one-room cabin and live out here permanently. So I pulled up to my campsite and I'm hearing a noise from the van, and I was kind of confused, like, what is this sound? It's the fans for these LED headlights. Those LED headlights, they are known to get hot. And now I'm gonna make sure I shut them off, obviously, because I don't want to run my battery out. But, oh man, check out this spot. What a beautiful place. And this here is what it's all about. Now there is some junk. I guess some other campers have left quite a bit of junk out here, but I got here actually a little earlier than I thought. I thought I was an hour later, but it's only 6:30 at night right now, so I have an extra hour for sunlight that I wasn't expecting. And so because of that, I'm gonna get the awning set up. So of course I went through all that effort to get out to this spot that's usually pretty secluded, but I hear what might be a vehicle approaching. And normally I don't really see anybody out here on these dirt roads, but if someone does come out here, I'll probably pack up and move somewhere else. I don't really want to be camping next to other people, but also sometimes out here folks get a little territorial, and I come out, I set up camp. I've never had this problem personally, but they might, you know, interfere or mess with the campsite while you're sleeping at night. So something, it's not something you experience, I think, necessarily down in the Southwest, but here kind of in the Midwest, it is a potential issue that these patchwork quilt land masses where you can camp are dispersed amongst other private property. I'm certainly not on private property right now, but it is something that I am always cognizant of when I'm out here doing these camping adventures. So on tonight's menu, we of course have some veggies. I really hope I had a steak in here. That's bacon. Well, I thought we were gonna have veggies and steak, but apparently I have these bison patties, which are still pretty good. I've got a little bit of bacon I might throw on there as well. I've got a tomato I need to slice up. So looks like I'm gonna have a mismatch of random stuff with my dinner tonight. So I think my chef card is revoked. I wanted to start the bacon, hoping that the bacon would cook a little bit and allow the burgers to then kind of cook on top of the bacon grease. But as soon as I opened those burgers, they basically fell right apart. And so now my meal went from essentially like a bacon hamburger to whatever I have going on here. It's almost like really all I'm missing is like some kind of noodles or something to top off the meal here. But I'm gonna let this cook for a few more minutes, and even though it really looks bad, it smells really good. So I'm actually excited to be getting to it. And if you're familiar with the channel, you've seen these hot plates and cooktops that I have here before for sure. This one I think pulls about 1800 watts max. I've got it almost on max mode right now because I'm really trying to sizzle the bacon a little bit and burn off some of that moisture from the veggies. Looks like I just need to tighten up this bacon a little bit, and then I can have a really good dinner. Well, I think I'm gonna have to call it quits on the bacon. I don't want to burn everything else up, and then I've still got to clean up this pot. And so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. Still smells really good, but I feel like I should have cooked the bacon actually a little more before I even tried to put the burgers on, and that may have helped me overall with this meal. One of my favorite things about this cooktop is the top is still hot, that cast iron skillet that I used, but the bottom of this and the sides, no worries at all. So not worried about picking it up, moving it around. And on the bottom has a little fan that keeps it from overheating while you're using it. The only gripe that I have about this is that it uses a lot of power. So I tapped probably about 50% of my battery to cook that with this. And so if I was going to use this long term, or for example for breakfast, I may already even be out of power or not have enough power to make my coffee in the morning. But I should have an alternate coffee maker that is propane or gas. And so if I can't use electricity, I will certainly use that. And I almost forgot I have this tomato that I wanted to slice a little bit. I was going to do almost like a low carb hamburger, but now I'm just going to throw these tomato slices on top of my meal, and it's almost ready. It's almost cooled off enough that I can eat it. So, and well, friends, dinner is served. It smells really good, but I'm afraid it is not. It is more like a fajita mix. Like it would have been a perfect if I had some taco shells or something, or some, flour tortillas or something. But I definitely am not going to need this knife. So let's eat. And this is my first camping trip, as I said earlier, in a while. And so I don't have any salt. I don't have any pepper. I grabbed this fork and this knife essentially at the last minute. The campsite I wanted to go to was blocked by a giant tree. Couldn't get there. So I'm really curious, what you guys think. How would you rate this trip so far? I wasted a lot of time driving around looking for this second spot. And I actually assumed I would have to go to my third spot because you just never know out here what you can encounter. Now, we did get some mild off-roading. I mean, by no means would I say that a Toyota Corolla couldn't make it out here, but I'm a little disappointed that I really didn't get to go down that road I wanted to go down, because I really like the campsite there. This one's really good too, but I really like that one, and I feel like it would have brought me a kind of sense of accomplishment if I went and actually made it there. So a little bit disappointed that I didn't make it there, but overall, when I'm not talking, I've got a little whippoorwill going whoo whoo, and I can hear the crickets and all the just normal noises of the forest all around me. I already pulled one tick off of me, and so what I want to do is get my window shade covers. I'm going to focus on just this window so I can open this window, but have my screen on there so that none of these bugs are going to fly in the middle of the night while I'm relaxing in the van. And the easiest way to install my screens is to lower that window. So let me get that window down. It sounds like the rain's coming back in, so let's get this thing on, get inside the van and relax a little. I've been leaving this shade up. This shade right here doesn't block my view, even though this is the passenger side of the vehicle. I've been pulling down my rear window shade, and I've also been leaving this front and this back side up on this side, because when I am driving the vehicle, I can't even see out of that window anyway. I haven't had any problems with that, and so not a big deal, but I've just been leaving them up, and that's been a lot easier for me. So what I want to do now, put this one up. Even though I don't need these, I am in the middle of the forest, but if somebody wants to creep up on me in the middle of the night, and I hope my belly wasn't showing there, but if somebody wants to creep up on me in the middle of the night, they won't really be able to see me too well. Another benefit of these side windows here is I can leave that shade up and I can crack that. However, now I don't have protection from bugs coming in like I do on this window. But, you know, when it's cooler, if I want to let some of that condensation out, it's not a huge problem. Now, this window right here is essentially open to the outdoors. It is down all the way. I've got the screen in there. Those screens for me work perfectly. My only minor worry, which is probably unfounded, is that like a coyote or something will try to climb through the window or jump in, which I can take the coyotes, but if I don't have to fight coyotes while I'm sleeping in the middle of the night, that would be one of the better experience, I suppose, is camping. Something I definitely want to share is I do have this Haley Outdoors bed frame. I've had this in here for about a month. I've slept on this a few times, but I haven't really gone out camping with it. But what I've done over the last couple of weeks is taken the air mattress off that came with the Haley Outdoors Solo bundle, and I went back to my trusty 6-inch narrow twin memory foam mattress that I've had in the minivan since 2019. Same mattress. I do change the sheets on it, but one thing I noticed when I was changing the sheets this time is I've used it so much that it is starting to get discolored a little bit under the sheet. And so I might be, and so I might end up needing to replace the mattress at some point. I've got other mattresses. I've actually got a really cool mattress I want to try. And one thing I've realized for myself is that a 24-inch mattress for my body frame is just a little too narrow for comfort. I started with a minivan several years ago. Last year I experimented with a Jeep for a little bit, and then I ultimately decided that I wanted to have the minivan. And this is exactly why. I can go wherever I want. I can camp in the back of my van. I've got my screen there so I don't have the bugs all over me. My real gripe with that Jeep was I love being able to get off-road with it. I loved a lot about it. But if I wanted to camp, I had to set up that rooftop tent. So I couldn't do any stealth camping. I couldn't do anything but really go out and explore out in the wilderness and try to find a site. Occasionally I do like to park on a curb somewhere in a city street. I'll do that sometimes when I'm traveling for work and things like that. It's, to me, a much more fun adventure than staying in a hotel, or I do end up staying in a hotel occasionally, but the van is just much more fun. The worst part about the last year or so, I know you guys know that I had that surgery. The scar is it's good enough now that I can show it. I'm not sure if that's coming through in the camera, but it took a while. We're talking 3 months ago almost, I had that surgery. And I still, like moving that log earlier, a little bit tough on the neck. It's amazing how good my hands feel, but that, you know, things like that can stress it out a little bit. Over the last year, I've gained a little bit more weight than I want. And so I've spent the last, really since the surgery, all of that time trying to focus on losing some of that weight. There's a balance there, because if I don't eat enough, I feel like I'm low energy. And then if I eat the right amount, then I don't make any progress. And it's just a cycle that I'm going down. But hopefully by the summer's only a few months away, I'll at least be back into my normal clothes. But I think that's enough talking for tonight. What I'm going to do is get settled, get in bed. My battery is dying because I use way too much power making my dinner. And so I'm going to have to dig out my coffee supplies, or I might not even be able to have coffee before I hit the road in the morning, which would be a huge bummer. But anyway, I'm going to get some rest. I'll see you guys in the morning. Just a little chilly. It's like 61 degrees this morning. Oh, and by the way, good morning. I slept great, but around 5 o'clock I woke up. I don't know if I mentioned, but I ran out of battery last night. I overwhelmed my battery with my cooktop. And so now I'm going to check in the back and see if I have my stove. If I have my stove, do I have gas for my stove? I know that I only have pods for coffee, so I'm going to have to break my pods open, pour the coffee greens into my stove, and cook my coffee that way. But let's see what we have. Probably time to store my winter sleeping bag, but so all this stuff fits in here nice and tight. Oh no. All right. So the good news is I've got all the coffee mugs and the plates, forks, all the things that I need, except, let's see here. Guys, I think this is a fail. Besides my reliance on electricity, which has caused me to leave all of my gas stoves out of my packing list for this trip, I unfortunately have I've got no way to make coffee out here. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and get set up. And I'm about an hour away from my closest source of coffee, so what better way to get my day started than to get to civilization and find where I can get some coffee. The sky is so beautiful out there, and the sun, I don't know if I can catch this on the camera, but the sun is just starting to peek over the horizon. And just through the trees there, you can barely see the light of the sun coming up. And since the sun is just about to rise, I'm gonna go ahead and hang out for a little bit. I'm gonna drink some water, read my book for a little bit, let the sun rise, and then I'll pack up my camp and hit the road. All right, enough sitting around. It was sprinkling just a little bit, but it's cleared up and sun is up. Well, sun is not up, but the sun is rising. I've got plenty of light. I'm gonna check my area, make sure I don't leave any trash behind. I'm gonna hit the road, and if you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments what you think. What do you have going on? What kind of camping are you getting into this spring season? And I'll catch you in my next adventure.